A hypothetical 7-match MMA Texan style card in the spirit of an off day, perhaps a slow news day, and yesterday's fight. The content that you're dying for in the locker room with Cody Stutes riding along. Texans fight night. Let's get it on.
Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital.
All right, so we have a little fantasy type of thing, not fantasy football, but a little fantasy thing that we're going to do here in the locker room in the spirit of yesterday's fight. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me here throughout the week. Got content, got you covered. We cover this team like no other. Cody Stoots joins me for this exercise. This is going to be interesting. So yes, it must be a slow news day. Hell, they're off. Never slow news days, but I am a fan of activities like this. I like to get to the nitty gritty. I also like to do things like this. MMA is a very popular sport. Football is the popular sport. So in the spirit of the scuffle yesterday, I have put together a 7-match card featuring Houston Texans doing battle against each other. And yes, I have put some thought into this. This is a very serious exercise. I don't know why you're laughing, Cody. We're going to break down each matchup. We're going to talk about who wins each one, but I have a 7-fight card featuring members of your Houston Texans.
When I think about the great matchmakers of combat entertainment, I think about Dana White, I think about Vince McMahon, and I think about Landry Locker. So
you're saying that sarcastically. You might not be saying that after you witness this card.
I'm excited to see what you've put together.
All right. Well, we're going to start with match 1. The house isn't quite packed. There are people shuffling in. Let me introduce the first contestant. At 6 foot, 180 pounds, by way of Hawaii, Kaimi Fairbairn. His opponent at 6 foot 191, by way of Orlando, Florida, the punter, Tommy Townsend. Matchup 1, Kaimi Fairbairn versus Tommy Townsend. Where are we going here? Similar size. Townsend, you would think, might be a little bit more athletic. He's got a little bit of a height advantage by 1 inch, and he's also got a 7-pound weight advantage.
Look, it might be just a 7-pound weight advantage, but only one of these two guys was featured in an off-season photo of the team in the weight room, and that wasn't the kicker. That was the punter. Tommy Townsend had the gun show going in the offseason. He's been in the weight room. It might be 7 pounds on the scale, but it might be thousands of pounds in force in a fighting situation. I'm going with Tommy Townsend on this one.
Yeah, and I think one kick to the leg from Tommy Townsend, especially with like the soft tissue injuries and stuff we've seen from Fairbairn, because that's always the thing about MMA. It's not necessarily the punches, because I think the punches knock anyone out, but you kick me in the leg and they just kind of dust it off. That's what separates the men from the boys. Tommy Townsend, an elite punter. Kaimi Fairbairn, we've seen him kind of nicked up a little bit. So I would say that Tommy Townsend wins matchup number 1 as the fans at NRG start to shuffle into the stands.
You got to think about this too. Kaimi's leg never gets super high. So, his sweet spot is kicking like legs and maybe like the midsection. Townsend and punters, like their leg can go really high. Yeah. So, Tommy Townsend could go for a little knockout with a punt kick.
Yeah, so I got to agree with you on this one. I'm going to say that Tommy Townsend takes down Kaimi Fairbairn in the beginning. So that was a little bit of a lightweight.
So KO. Townsend via KO.
Yeah, it may be a towel because Kaimi sees that his leg is bruised. But look, I'm not judging. I would be on the ground too. Okay. Matchup number 2. We're getting a little heavier here. Not a little heavier. We're getting a lot heavier. The first contestants at 6'5", 322 pounds, by way of Alabama, Titus Howard. His opponent and he did not want to do this, but he got talked into it. At 6'5", 313 pounds, by way of Lake City, Florida, Laramie Tunsil.
Oh no, the Bash brothers going against each other.
Best friends, friend versus friend. There is a handshake before this one.
This so rarely happens in combat sports where friends get together, but this is why you're on the quest to be the best matchmakers. You can get these two friends in the
I'm a promoter, baby.
In the combat area together. Boy, this one's tough.
Laramie wanted the gate. He wanted the whole gate. I had to talk him down to like a percentage. I know he's a good negotiator, but I am not Bill O'Brien. I'm not Jack Easterby. You're not going to take me to the woodshed.
Yeah. Look, I would tell you that right now I kind of I favor the slightly heavier and heavier looking fighter in this one, and that would be Titus Howard. I just feel like, maybe Titus's willingness to sometimes mix it up in the run game lends itself to a bit more aggression when you get into a situation where there's a lot of close combat. I mean, Tunsil's expertise is keeping guys away from him, keeping them at arm's length. But if Titus gets in there and gets rough with Laramie in close combat, I guess I got to go Titus on this one, but I don't love it.
Well, I got to go with Laramie because I think Laramie is going to be able to finesse his way in there. I think he's going to be able to keep him off him, maybe land a few strikes. I think Titus is going to go inside on him, but it's not easy to bring Laramie down because he's like a leverage expert.
Yes.
He also probably doesn't want to get that pretty face hit. So I got to go with Laramie Tunsil. I think this one goes a little bit long. I think he kind of tires Titus Howard out. And I think this one goes the distance and Laramie Tunsil wins by decision.
Is this one of those where like the fans at the end are kind of like there's like that slow murmur of a boo because there hasn't been as much action as some of the other ones, and so it's like, okay, Laramie won by judge's decision, but people would have maybe preferred to see a knockout. It's kind of what it feels like, maybe.
Perhaps, yeah. That's the first two matches. Business will pick up here, but you got Titus in that one. I got Laramie. Matchup number 3. Get ready for this one. This one's going to be interesting. This one could get really technical. It could get really feisty.
Okay.
This one is featuring two of the coach's favorites. The theme here is who will be the favorite of D'Amico. They are battling for the heart of D'Amico Ryans. Contestant number 1. Do you have any guesses?
Oh man, is it Christian Harris?
No.
Oh.
We don't want Christian Harris fighting. He's not ready to go right now.
Okay. All right.
Contestant number 1 at 6 foot 180 pounds by way of Georgia, Kamari Lassiter.
Ooh, okay. The locksmith. That feels like a guy that would be good at submissions.
And we had, and this is going to be a little bit smaller. His opponent at 6 foot 200. So we do have a weight advantage of 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Petrie. Petrie versus Kamari Lassiter. The battle for D'Amico's heart. The battle for the C. The battle for the C on the jersey. Jalen Petrie versus Kamari Lassiter.
Man, okay, so Petrie moving around, multi-discipline type of defender, multi-discipline type of fighter maybe, so maybe not an expert at any one thing. I just wonder if Kamari Lassiter could just get in there and there's a submission hold and then that's it. Like the locksmith locks in a submission and then that's it. That's all she wrote for Jalen Petrie. One little mistake, and that's how those submission fighters get you. Petrie, out coming off of last year, prone to mistakes. I'm going Kamari Lassiter by submission on this one.
Okay, you're going Kamari by submission. I'm going to go Jalen Petrie. I think Jalen Petrie uses his size a little bit. I think he's intense. It's going to be a good fight. This is going to be one of those where there's going to be a standing ovation at the end. I just think 20 pounds is a lot to overcome. I'm not going to do too much. I'm not going to ask you to cut weight or anything like that in this hypothetical world. So we're split again here. I got Petrie. You got Lassiter via submission. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I got Cody Stutes here riding with me. It is an off day. This is the type of stuff that we like to do. Still got the night streams going down. Every Thursday, we're going to have a little more serious grudge matches right here in the Locker Room. 6 p.m. every Thursday when the season begins, we're going to do the weekly booking. So that means that we're going to take 7 matchups in the game. Texans, Indianapolis will be the first one, and we're going to put Texans players against opponents, maybe coaches. There might be some, if you know me, there might be like some weird wiggle room type of stuff, but that's what we're going to do. This one not as serious. This is just the ultimate Texans fight card. And if we're missing the analysis, because I don't pride myself on being an MMA guy, break it down for us in the comments. Next matchup. Okay. This is the one that started it all. You can go back and look at this moment, the altercation between these two that started this whole line of thinking. The first contestant by way of Maryland at 6 foot, 191 pounds, Stefon Diggs.
Okay.
His opponent at 5'11", 193. So we're talking 1 inch in height and 2 pounds. Jimmy Ward. This is going to be a scrappy one.
Yes, it is.
All right, I got to say this. Jimmy's a little bit nasty, man. Jimmy's got a hell of a mean streak in him. He doesn't know when to stop. Stefon Diggs, pretty quick, stronger than you may think he is, and he's willing to mix it up. I got to tell you, though, I think Jimmy Ward is a pretty heavy favorite in this one just because of how nasty he is.
Yeah, he is, but you do wonder if maybe sometimes, that would be enough to get him a couple of point deductions because he plays a little dirty every now and then. And when it's all said and done, if Diggs could take this the distance, the point deductions catch up to Jimmy Ward. I think in just a flat out, hey, just fight, no decision, you probably lean Ward. But if Diggs could take this one, and extend this one out, and look, when you think about these two fighters, who usually goes the distance and who usually doesn't go the distance?
Ooh.
Diggs goes the distance.
He's very durable. That is very true.
Plays basically every game every year. That can't be the same said for Jimmy Ward. So I'm going with Stefon Diggs by decision because it goes the difference, and Jimmy Ward's got point deductions along the way.
It goes the distance, so you're giving it to Diggs.
Diggs by decision.
Okay, you got Diggs. I got Jimmy Ward. Just straight nastiness. Sometime in the second or third round is where I'll go there. So another split by the hypothetical judges. This next one, I didn't want to do this, man. I really, really, really didn't want to do this. This one hurts me. To be honest with you, we got 3 fights left. This one, I don't like my quarterback getting hit, but you got to put the face of the franchise in the hypothetical fight card. So contestant number 1 by way of California,
Rancho Cucamonga, California, baby.
6'3", 218 pounds, CJ Stroud. His opponent, 1 inch taller at 6'4", 7 pounds heavier, and a lot of that is neck. Davis Mills. Davis Mills couldn't beat out CJ in the fake quarterback competition. They still seem to get along, and now we got a fight between CJ Stroud and Davis Mills.
Man, this is one of those random matchups in the middle of your card where you look at the odds and one side is just like a massive favorite, and basically the only way the other side wins is like some random crazy knockout. Like, I mean, this
really?
is yeah,
really.
I would tell you Stroud's like minus 800.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. Look, I believe CJ Stroud has a little bit of tussle history in his past, and you look at the size of Davis Mills' neck. That is prime guillotine, rear neck and choke area. I mean, he can't defend.
Oh, yeah,
all
that is a lot of neck. That is a lot of choke. That is a lot of choke area.
He can't defend all that neck. He can only
Good
defend
point.
so much of it,
That's a good point.
So
That's a big disadvantage, by the way.
This one to me, this is CJ Stroud by finish. Maybe it's knockout. Maybe it's submission. And I got to think about this too, Landry. Stroud does all these different athletic warm-ups. He does the basketball, he does the golf, he does the baseball. He has to have at least dabbled in some sort of martial arts, and he even did sumo in the offseason, so he's worked on his balance a little bit. This is Stroud by a landslide. The only chance Mills has got is if he throws one high and actually connects, which is not something he did when he was the starter.
Yeah, you had me as soon as you mentioned the neck, because we see chokes. That's the easiest way to end a fight. So the neck case, I gotta agree with you there. So we will give that one. We will agree on that one and give that one to CJ Stroud. The next matchup. Some thought this was going to be the main event. Sorry, it is not. It is the co-main event, I guess you can say. Contestant number 1, 6'1", 195 pounds, by way of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Derek Stingley. His opponent.
It's the grudge match.
And this is a big weight disadvantage and height, but he created this on his own. At 6'5", 242 pounds, Dalton Schultz.
Man, this one's tough, man. I don't know. I mean, I would tell you that Dalton Schultz's history from Utah to Stanford, that doesn't lend itself to a lot of hey, fight experience, a lot of scuffles or anything like that. But it's a grudge match, and there's no blindsiding in this. He sees him coming. So,
and that's a lot of weight.
It's just there is
that's 4 inches, and that's like 35 pounds. That's too much weight. I don't think Dalton Schultz can lose this one. I don't think he's gonna I think he's just gonna wear him out. I think it's gonna be almost like Rory Nelson back in the day, where you're kind of laying on him and just using the size. It's too hard. Stingley's going to try to keep him away, but Dalton's athletic enough to get him inside. I think this is the most boring fight of the day, but I'm just going to say that the height and weight is too much. I'm going to give this to Dalton Schultz.
Schultz by decision on a very long, slow, drawn out.
This is a get ready for the main event type of thing.
Okay.
This is a get ready for the main event type of fight. It is the UFT Ultimate Fighting Texans, motivated by 2 factors: the off day and the fight that was yesterday. This one, this was the one that got brought up instantly. One of my favorite guys to listen to. Expect big things from him. He is 6'4", 261 pounds, not 243 like the roster says, much to the dismay of John McClain. He is 6'4", 261, by way of Hampton, Georgia, Will Anderson.
Okay.
His opponent, 1 inch taller at 6'5". It says 2 pounds bigger. I think his weight might be a little bit heavier too, just in the arms. Daniil Hunter. This is your main event, people.
Man, this is the matchup everybody wanted. This is the matchup I was hoping you would make. This is nobody's a loser except for the guy that loses, because everybody else is going to watch this and enjoy. This would be hard to figure out. Hunter looks he looks exactly like one of those top tier heavyweights that you see in mixed martial arts, like the guys that, not the guys that used to be 300 pounds and then they make weight. I'm talking just chiseled. He's got the muscles. He's got the veins popping out of his arms. He would just be, it feels like, ready. I'm going to go with Will Anderson, though.
Oh, wow, you are.
I just feel like the mentality and the youth, and then the the springiness, like, Anderson is just kind of he just explodes, the explosion, from his stance. I just feel like Anderson will use his youth and explosiveness to take care of Hunter, who's still very strong, still very explosive, and has obviously some experience on Anderson. But I'll go youth and just the mentality. I just feel like Will Anderson is out there and he just sees red and he just demolishes everybody because of that. And I think Anderson's a lot faster than Hunter is. It's not a huge advantage, but it's enough. And I'm going Will Anderson on
this one's going the distance, and there's going to be people yelling at each other in the stands about who they think won. It's going to be a 50-50 split. We're going to have to be waiting for the judges. The referee is going to have each guy's hand held. Yeah. And at the end of the day, as a result of split decision, Daniil Hunter wins the fight. Daniil Hunter wins the fight. The old man strength, just the seriousness of Daniil Hunter. Daniil Hunter wins this fight, and he wins the main event.
Man, okay. I could look. Everyone's going to go away happy with this one. It's got fight of the night potential, performance of the night bonus potential for those guys. Yeah, I can see it. There's no wrong answers on that one.
So did we miss any matchups? Did we misanalyze any matchups? Let us know. We'll get a little more serious tonight. The usual live stream tomorrow. They're back on the field and business picks up. Must be a slow news day. Never around here, although we do like to have a little bit of fun. This has been a special edition of the Locker Room. Texans back on the field tomorrow. By the way, we're 1 in and 1 out right now. We're 1 week into training camp. We're 1 week out of a game. So it's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to handle business. Texans off today. They'll return to the field tomorrow for a game week. So we're going to get a little game week. Practice probably going to be a little bit lighter, but we'll see who returns and what goes down. Studes, appreciate you for coming through. Tell the people where they can see you. By the way, we're going to have a lot of collabs going on. The weekly booking Thursday at 6. That's going to happen throughout the week. Reaction Mondays, all that type of stuff, as well as our usual stuff. But tell them where they can get the rest of your work. And I understand you got something going with the print.
Yeah, absolutely. So Houston Football, HOUfootball.com. You can find it on the Twitter account as well at Cody_Stutes. And then, of course, right here on YouTube, Cody Stutes here on YouTube. You can find me and lots of stuff with Landry over there. And we're going to have a lot of fun this season. And this is just the start of the creative juices starting to flow. So everybody's going to be real pumped with what we got put together for the season.
There we go. Must be a slow news day. Never around here. Appreciate you for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, whether the Texans are fighting, whether they're playing football, whatever the hell they're doing, when it comes to this Texans stuff, we're all in it together. If you missed any of the previous videos, check those out as well. Broke down the fight, went down in distance in the breakdowns as well. So continue to ride along. We're almost to 10,000 and we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through.
On YouTube, we got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about.